That's a very good question. I know I don't rank as high as I would like to be, but there are some great artists here in Toledo and some great glass blowers, and they're continuing the tradition by teaching people at the Toledo Art Museum. Me being a part of it is more than I could ever ask for 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I wanted to make paperweights and sell enough to pay for the time I was in the studio. And that was my goal. Well, my goals have changed over the years where I want to make some profit, but I still, the feeling of creation of something that'll never be reproduced, even by me. You know, I can get close to some of the shapes, I can get close to some of the forms and colors, but I can never create the exact thing. Hi, I'm Randy Kuntz, and I'm a glass artist, glass blower here from Toledo, Ohio. It's interesting. I knew I was within 5 years of retirement, so I started teaching in the evenings also at Owens Community College, and a student asked me what I got for Christmas, and I said a paperweight. I said, I've always been fascinated by paperweights. And another student said, well, my husband's the president of the Toledo Area Glass Guild, so he called me and asked me if I'd like to come out and make a paperweight. So I came out on a Saturday morning in 1998, made a paperweight with him. He said I have a knack for it. He'd give me private lessons, and 9 months later I retired and said I'm going to do this the rest of my life. It's just something that I fell in love with, I became addicted to, I studied it on my own time, and the rest is history. If you talk to any artist, and I don't care if it's a potter, a painter, or whatever, you hear about them losing time, and that's the truth. I get in this studio and I start creating, time just is not a factor. I mean, it can be 3 hours, and the only reason I know it's time to quit is my arms start cramping. When my arms start cramping, it's done. I have to finish the piece, put things away, and go home, because I've got a complete workout. But my mind is also getting a workout at the same time. There's really two ways that I blow glass. If I need production work, I need to make Christmas ornaments, I can come in and I can do the same thing over and over again and create Christmas ornaments. And they're beautiful, but they're not as challenging mentally and artistically as when I come in and say, well, today I'm going to have fun. And what happens is I add my color, I start blowing the piece of glass not knowing exactly what I'm going to finish it like. And as I stretch it out, as I swing the pipe and let gravity help me shape it, I'll start seeing something start to form. And at that point, I just let the glass create itself. And it really is exciting at the end when I finally do my final swings, my final twists, and the piece just creates itself. My style is self-taught, as you can see, so some of my techniques are not the ones they're using to teach the college kids. Nowadays, in colleges, they teach you to work with a partner, or actually some of the big glass blowers have 5 or 6 people on their team. But the old style glass blowers didn't have anybody to work with, so I have to do everything by myself. Bring my own bits, get my own color, do everything by myself, and put it away by myself. The hardest part was finding my own style of color. And color seems, you know, easy, but you want something that people look at and say, Randy Kuntz made that. And what I did was, as I was studying, I watched the internet, I watched other artists that were already performing, and I also went to Murano in Italy. And while I was there, one of the masters was blowing a piece of glass. Afterwards, he came up and said, I hear you're a glass blower from America. Showed me this piece of glass, which was the most beautiful piece of glass I've ever seen. The colors were exquisite. He said, you'll never figure out how I did it. I worked for 2 years. He was right, I could not do it. But as I was experimenting with different colors and different techniques, I found a pattern that I like even better than what I was trying to copy. So I guess that's how you experiment. You keep trying things until you find what's your style. And that's what I did with my color. And most of my color patterns people recognize as mine. It's been a very rough 2 years. We actually ended up shutting down the studio. We had no place to sell our products. So just to keep making more and more glass without having an avenue of selling just didn't work. And what's happened is most of the glass artists have actually quit, and we're down to about 3 here at the Toledo Botanical Gardens. And what that means is we can't blow enough hours to pay for the gas. So we've been losing money for the last year. And unless something changes drastically, this could be the swan song of the Toledo Area Glass Guild here at the Toledo Botanical Gardens, is we have started looking into grants. I started a GoFundMe page, and which has been moderately successful, not to the point where it's going to save us, but at least it saved us for the next 6 months. And I think if we can find 1 or 2 glass blowers that want to come into our studio and work with us, I think we can keep it going. I don't know what the future is going to hold, but I do know that the ones that are left are going to do everything possible to keep it going, because we just love it so much.